Hello out there. How y'all doing? Uh, good evening. Good evening, everybody. Tonight is men's night. Hope you guys are ready to go. Hope all is well with you since our last meeting a couple of weeks ago. Um, we had an awesome first time roundtable, Zoom roundtable, and we are back at it. We have about another month and a half before this year is ending, and we are going to press into it with great expectation and gird our loins and prepare to move into 2021 with some of the mindset that's necessary to complete the task, to finish strong. And so it is men's night tonight. So, brothers out there, check in with me. We gotta, we're gonna deal. Hey, Thurman, thank you, son, for joining me tonight. And get some notes out because I'm going to drop some things that I want you to write down and commit to your memory as we go a little deeper. Terrence Hilliard, what's up, Booshoo? We going to have a great time tonight and talking about accountability. And I have some stuff I want to commit. I want you to commit to your memory. And so get a pad. You got a minute as people are checking in. And I'm not going to start yet until we get to a certain number. So thank you. If you're watching, men, check in. I want to see who's watching tonight. Please type in your name, say hello to me so I'll know you're there. And I want to speak directly to all of you concerning this subject that we need so desperately, and it's called accountability. And so let me know who's out there. Good evening once again to everybody. Jules, how you doing? Sir, good evening to you. This is going to be essential as we press on self-development and self-examination, looking under the hood as we talked about a few months back, checking to see what we're working with, fixing anything that's not moving properly, that's not acting right. No, YouTube and Periscope. What do you mean by that? I'm live on all of these platforms. Mm. So yeah, let's get after it tonight. Hope y'all are having a great day. I had a busy day early on. Had to do a funeral today in Philadelphia for a friend of mine, and that went well. The Lord blessed. Hey, Glenn. I'm taking a quiz. As soon as I'm done, I'll be back. How long are you on? I'm going to be on for a little minute, maybe a little less than an hour. Take your quiz, man. It'll be live on, it'll be open to you. This is being uploaded to my Facebook page, my YouTube page, and also my, what is it, Periscope. And so, listen, I need y'all to subscribe to, as we subscribe to my YouTube page if you haven't already. I want to build that platform up so you can look up Dr. Tim Johns on YouTube and then hit the subscribe button. And so every time I come on, if you don't get a notice already, you'll get one from YouTube. So, and I really want to get most of you connected to my YouTube page. It's much more effective in reaching the world. So when you get a minute sometime this evening, go to my YouTube page and hit subscribe uh, and, um, and be a blessing to the ministry by helping me get the word out. So great, great, great. Who else is out there on this Tuesday night? We are going to be rocking and rolling. It is men's night. Ah, come on. Yes, it's men's night. And so I welcome you tonight as we have our open discussion. And it's a doozy too. It's a doozy. Accountability is all about relationships. It really is when you take a look at it. Um, and we started on this subject. Hey, Danny, how you doing? Accent. Pastor Mo was asking me what's uh, your Facebook hashtag or name. I couldn't remember it. So it's accent, Pastor Mo. ACCENTGH. So good evening to you, son. I miss you. I miss you. Yes, I'm glad that you are blessed. This is going to be essential. I'm telling you. And I think tonight, as we dive into this, we got a few minutes, so let me talk a little bit. As we dive into this, I want you to be thinking about that, what the enemy is trying to hinder. The enemy doesn't want men to be accountable. The enemy doesn't want, if the enemy had his way, if Satan himself had his way, he would want to make sure that men are isolated and separated from the right relationships. hmm And I'm telling you, it is a systematic demonic attack. Great. Thank you, Glenn. Glenn just went right on to my YouTube page and subscribed. Boy, that's some stuff right there. Thank you, Glenn. Eddie F. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good evening to you. Man, got your message too, man, about the Bible study. And that's just a wonderful thing. Ed is teaching Bible study in his shop, man. And that's just a powerful thing, man. I remember when I was being discipled, and I'm still being discipled, but I remember when my pastor was teaching me and I was following him and accountable to him. He would have a meeting with us men, and boy, those were some good years, man. Oh my God. He would have meetings with us, and he would come to the church and do a men's meeting. I forgot what night it was, but man, he would break all the rules. Now, what I mean by that is we were supposed to have Bible study, but some nights we were so hungry for the word, we would not leave. And we walk out of there 11 o'clock at night. I mean, we did nights like that because, you know, my pastor was teaching machine and we couldn't get enough of it. We were just sitting and eating. And I pray that we have moments like this where we just keep going and going and going. And so remember, the YouTube meeting is going to be the third, I believe it's the third Tuesday. We're going to meet twice a month, and make sure, if you haven't already, registered on the website, HGM website. So go to the HGM website and register for the YouTube meeting. So when we do the meeting, you'll get the link, and I'll send the link out. And then we can have that private YouTube Zoom meeting. So it's www .hgmde.org, and hit when you see the men's talk, go ahead and hit the brochure or the invitation. It'll take you right to the registration page, and you go right there. So yes, have you noticed that there is a concerted, it's a systematic attack on men that keep men separated from each other. Yes, it is a demonic attack. I mean, think about it, men. That's why you see so many women in church and active in church as opposed to the number of men. Now, we can get there, but we must understand that. But there is a demonic attack to keep us from each other, from the right relationships, because the devil knows that if you get a hold of the right relationships, your life will change. Your life will change. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, and dive into it. So get a pen out and let's take some notes. I really want you to take some notes as we talk about accountability and a deeper and let's go deep into it. But I want to talk about accountability in regards to the right relationships, because it is impossible for us to succeed without understanding the power in relationships. It's impossible. We're going to succeed based on the relationships we have. I'm telling you, I'm telling you. Why do you think Jesus was so powerful? Because he had the right relationships. He said himself, I don't do nothing without the Father. I don't. I don't do nothing without the Father. Look at how committed he was to relate to the relationship with the Father. He said, I don't move, I don't speak, I don't do nothing. This is the power in the relationship. And that transcends into our lives. You know, we have to be connected to each other. We have to learn how to love one another and not be intimidated by somebody else's strengths, and recognize what we need in each other to make it happen. And so oftentimes, another brother has our answer, and we've got to be able to receive from another brother and also give. Your ability to your ability to relate will help you succeed exponentially. Your ability to relate, to connect, it's going to help you exponentially. And this doesn't happen by osmosis. It happens in a mindset. I knew when I started pastoring that I needed certain relationships. I just knew it. I just knew I needed certain relationships. And I'm telling you right now, hey, James, who else is checking in? Let's do another check in. If you haven't checked in with me, say something to me. Ladies, or if you're watching tonight, God bless you. Make sure your husband, your boyfriend get a hold of this, because this is going to bless their night. This is men's night, where we come on and talk about specifically what us men need. And so that's right, Thurman. Iron does sharpen iron. That's a famous scripture, but it does. Irons does sharpen iron. You're not going to get sharp by yourself. You're not. You're not going to exist by yourself. You cannot be isolated. You have to open yourself up, to relate to people, to relate to the environment the right way. And so your ability to succeed exponentially is going to be based on how you relate. How you relate. I walk with this protocol that everybody has value, even the people that irritate me. Everybody have value. Learn to look for the value in other men. Learn for the look for the value in the relationships. You're not going to always gel with everybody, but everybody has value. And maybe the Lord will bring somebody in your life that you have to extrapolate that value and connect to. And your personalities are so different, but they offer a different perspective, and you got to be able to relate to it. You got to be able to relate to it. We're not in competition with one another. But this is the scent. This is the really. I'm going to the substratum. I'm going to how we think about relationships, because it's all about accountability. Accountability will connect you to the right people, and it'll keep you connected to the right people when you have the right mindset. And so the only way we know we're under a curse if we lack the right relationships. If you lack the right relationship, it's going to feel like you're under a curse. I am telling you, yes, indeed. Now, you know what a curse is. I didn't say you were cursed. I said a curse is when the blessings of God is not flowing to you, it's not reaching you. It's not reaching you. So remember, God blesses from the head down. Yes, and then he blesses from the left to the right. It's like that cross. It's like that cross. God will have somebody above you, and they'll have brothers on the side of you. And a threefold cord is hard to break. And so we must understand that we're not going to survive this thing alone. You're not going to succeed without other people, without other men in your life. You're not going to be able to succeed. Whose birthday is it? Hey, is Thurman, it's your birthday? I'm sorry, I missed your birthday. Whose birthday? Somebody, happy birthday, Thurman. And so this is going to be essential. Everyone you see doing well, it's because of the right relationships. Everybody you see doing well is because of the right relationships. I guarantee you, everyone you see doing well. It is a paradigm that we see in secular world. It's a paradigm we see in Christendom. It is a paradigm all over the place. You talk to successful people, and they will talk to you about the person that taught them. You talk to successful people, and they will begin to tell you who they're gleaning from. Whether they read their books, whether they listened to their tapes, whether they went to the seminars or whatever it is, you're gonna discover it's about relationships. It's about relationship. So get a hold of these principles about, even when God decides to bless you, he will bring a relationship into your life. And I truly believe in this season, we got to be open for new relationships. I'm always looking for new relationships, always, because when they come into my life, I start to evaluate them quickly. I've seen a few others over this year, over during this pandemic. I've noticed a couple of different people that I want to have a closer relationship with, and I maintain certain good relationships. I was out to dinner not too long ago with some other friends of mine, and it was a deliberate meeting. It was deliberate. We got together, our wives and us got together. That's deliberate. That was planned. I did it again with another couple. Why? It's deliberate. It's planned. I looked at, okay, I need to have them in my life, and I'm sure that I can add something to their life. And so I'm thinking about this, and you must do the same thing. Don't keep yourself isolated, and you have not opened yourself up to break bread with some new folk and sit down with some folk. And have you noticed that you need new relationships? And because when God is going to bless you, he's going to bring people into your life, and the bells and whistles going to go off. So my objective tonight, as I drop all this stuff about accountability with the subtopic of building the power of relationships, what I'm creating tonight is a sensitivity for you to recognize, how to manage relationships and how to be accountable to the right people and see this thing flowing right. Hey, Jamal. Hey, son, how you doing? Thank you for checking in. I'm glad to see you. And so, yes, share the video, everybody. Share the video with about a couple of brothers that you know. Maybe you're trying to reach out to some folks. Share this video because it's going to bless their life. And trust me, my heart is to see every man listening to this, live fruitful lives. And we gotta get out of this isolation. We gotta come together more. We gotta share our gifts with one another, share our hopes and our dreams with one another. We gotta connect with one another, because you're not gonna make it without brothers in your life. You're not gonna make it. It's this by God's design. Nobody gets to the mountain by themselves. There's always a hand that's got to lift you up. And if you look at scripture, you'll see it in scripture. If you look in the world, you'll see it in the world. I'm sure Oprah had some mentors. I'm sure Tyler Perry had some mentors. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. You know, Mike Tyson, if he tell, we know some of the, most of you know the stories of Mike Tyson, but you know, his trainer in the beginning, you could see the relationship that he had with his trainer. They were kissing each other, hugging each other. I mean, when I look at Mike Tyson, I look at back then and I go, look at that relationship. That relationship produced a champion. You remember Mike Tyson? Look at before all the power came and all the wealth came. Remember how he started? How did he ascend? Well, he had the right people. And I believe those two men had nothing to do with race. I believe they loved him. I believe they loved him. And Mike trusted them. If you remember, before Mike started changing his circle and all that, but they built a champion together. They played a role. So Mike Tyson did not make it to be Mike Tyson without that trainer. And it was another guy I'm forgetting. Some of y'all boxing fans know what I'm talking about. It was the trainer that was kissing on him all the time, and it was another guy. I think he was the promoter or something. But my point is, Mike never got there without relationships. Custom, yeah, that's right, James Customato. His trainer treated him like a son. Then he died. Yeah. Whoo. Listen, they built a champion. Mike trusted that guy. Mike trusted Cuss, and it was just wonderful. And that's my point. You know, who have you let into your life where you trust like that, where you're vulnerable like that? Now, you know he loved him. Anytime you putting your lips on a man, you know you love him. And it don't make you less than a man. When my son was young, I used to kiss him all the time on the lips, man. I forgot when he started pulling away from it. But when we were young, it was great because I loved my boy. And he was just so cute, little boy with them big old lips. And I used to kiss TJ on the lips all the time. It was such affectionate, you know, we get older and the kids, they don't like all that no more. But, you know, who have you let in like that? Who have you let in? You got to let some man in. Yeah, Ed, it was Cuss. You know, you got to let some people in. You got to let some people see your wounds. My brother, Orbajans, shout out to my brother. He has a message that he talks about, you know, sharing your wounds with another man. And it's a powerful message, powerful teaching he was talking about. And so you got to get close enough where somebody, you know, see your wounds and where you're vulnerable, but you're vulnerable in a safe place. And so with the time I have now, get some notes out. I want to talk about some things about relationships. I'm going to drop these one after the other, and I'll elaborate to much as I can, and we'll go from there. Because listen, man, you don't need money as much as you think you do. You need the right people. You need the right people. You don't lack speed like you think you do. You lack people, the right people. The right person in your life can change your life exponentially. The right person. And you ought to be so thirsty that when those people show up, man, when those people show up, you connect. Now, when we come on our Zoom meeting, we're going to talk about connections and give you guys a chance to connect with some brothers that are, you know, that are on the Zoom call. And because there are some gifts, talents, abilities that we need to be able to use to our advantage. Our connection is going to be everything. And so we're after something. We're after something. So these meetings on a monthly basis is essential because we need it desperately. Men need it especially Christian men. Man, we need it. We got to build an army where this is going to work, you know, and it's my desire to do that. All right, so let me go through some things about relationships that you must adhere to. They're kind of like rules. They're like commandments. Don't break these. These are things you gotta, if you want to have successful relationships, you want to write these things down. Number one, you gotta eliminate parasitic relationships. Yeah, parasitic relationships. Relationships where it's just sucking the life out of you. You got to be able to recognize that when someone's in your life and they just taken from you, and you get around them and it's draining. If you're always the one that's giving, that's a problem. That may if they're always sucking from you, that's the problem. You got to be able to identify. And for some of us, it could be women. We could be dealing with the wrong women. And that's another subject by itself. But if we're going to build successful relationships, we got to eliminate parasitic relationships and know which ones they are. And so when I notice, and Pastor Mo has been very, because she's my helpmate and she's my eyes and my ears, she's very helpful to me and helping me identify parasitic relationships, relationships that just want to take from me and not give to me, and they're not reciprocal. And so you must identify parasitic relationships, because the enemy wants to suck the life right out of you through bad relationships. Number two, every approach every relationship with the attitude that I'm here to be a blessing, to contribute to your success. Approach every relationship that I'm here to be a blessing. Have that mindset that when God brings people into your life, be thinking about what you can do to be a blessing to them. Be thinking about that what you can do to be a blessing to them. I got a call, late yesterday, from a brother that I'm developing a relationship with me, another pastor, and he was not feeling well. And he texted me out of the blue and he said, "Hey, bro, can you do the funeral for me? I'm not feeling well. And the Lord led me to call you." You know what I said? "Sure, brother. Absolutely." I said, "I'm honored to be of service." Did y'all hear what I said? I'm honored to be of. I didn't want nothing. I just wanted to help him. You follow what I'm saying? And so, right there, now as we're building this relationship, he knows that, man, that brother Tim, man, he's a stand-up guy, and this is why brothers are built in the day of adversity. And you can identify these individuals when you're going through, when you need help, and they show up for you. You can mark them and say, "Man, I can trust that one right there." Absolutely. So number two is approach every relationship with the attitude that I'm here to be a blessing to you. I'm not here to take from you. You've been around men who are takers, man, and you know what I'm talking about. They always talking about themselves. You start talking, they just talking about themselves. And they're looking to try to maneuver on what they can get from you as opposed to what they can add to you. And so you got to be able to do that. Number three, be generous as a rule. Yes, be generous as a rule. That means you have the mindset of generosity, that you're willing to give as a rule. If you're going to have good relationships, you need to be generous as a rule. Jesus talked about being a cheerful giver, and talking about the one who scatters seed, shall increase even more. But the one who withholds seed shall end up in poverty. He's talking about the spirit of generosity. If you are always thinking, "I'm going to bless as many people as I can." And remember remember what Jesus said, it's more blessed to give than receive. Why is that? Because when you give, you make impact into other people's lives. You place deposits in other people's lives, and it doesn't always have to be money. But if you have being generous as a rule, it will bless your life tremendously. Tremendously. Absolutely. Be generous as a rule. Number four, be sacrificially involved with real and genuine passion. Be sacrificially involved with real and genuine passion. Yes, when you involved in relationships, you gotta be involved. You gotta be sacrificially involved, which means you are willing to sacrifice what above your flesh. You're willing to go beyond what your flesh wants to do, and you do it with passion. The things you do, you ought to do with passion. You ought to serve with passion. You ought to love people with passion. Why? Because passion moves people. It is your passion that moves people towards you. It is your passion that gets people involved in your dream. When you are passionate about something, it will draw the right people into your life, and you will notice that you'll get everything you need, because people love to see folks on fire for a cause or a purpose. And people will feed somebody that is moving in purpose. People will help somebody that's moving in purpose. So be sacrificially involved with real, genuine passion. Well, Pastor Tim, how do I do that? Well, listen, go for what's in your heart. Do what's in your heart. Get a hold of the dream or what you desire and go for it. Go for it. Don't worry about money. Don't let money stop you from fulfilling your dreams, because money follows vision. If you just go for it, every resource you need will track you down. Every resource you need. When you start to move on it with passion and give yourself wholeheartedly to it, it's going to be a wonderful thing. See, you'll never, one thing about sacrifice that I've learned, you will never receive above your level of sacrifice. Get a hold of that. You'll never, these are principles. These things are not changing. You'll never receive. Hey, JL, what's up, man? Thanks for checking in. You'll never receive above your level of sacrifice. If you commit, and one of the things as we're having this men discussion that I really want to infuse in all of you, if you commit to develop men just where you are, and God will send you some men. And that's what we need. We need a men's revival like never before. Just commit to it. Just commit that, you know what? I'm going to bring some others along. That's why, Ed is on here tonight. My son in the faith, he's teaching Bible study. I love that. Teaching Bible study to some of the men that he's mentoring. And we all ought to be doing the same thing, because the enemy wants to stop us. We got folks that around us that want to glean from us. We need to start teaching them. We need to be duplicating ourselves in them. And I'm telling you, that's how it works. You don't get there by yourself. You got to be willing to create what you want to do, what you want duplicated in your own life. You got to be willing to sow for where you want to go. You got to be willing to create this thing. my mentor and my pastor, Dr. Aaron Michael A. Freeman, said this to me. He gets these compliments all the time about his leadership staff. And he said they didn't come to me that way. We created them. He duplicated himself in them. They didn't come that way. And I love that about him. So you've got to understand, we got to duplicate ourselves and other people. And it all begins with having the right relationship. Number 5, I'm going to try to speed it up. I'm still going good. Number 5, if you're just jumping on, we're talking about accountability. The men had, came to me and started talking about accountability, and that we need accountability. And I totally agree, we do. And so I decided that we're going to talk about it. We're going to have private Zoom meetings. We're going to have online power sessions. And so tonight we're connecting the accountability piece with having the right relationships, the power right relationships. And I'm giving you about 10 principles on how to build the right relationships and what you want to begin to put to practice. Now, remember, I said on Sunday, you can look at my broadcast on Sunday, I'm talking about faith, but I gave you a revelation. I gave you I made a statement that revelation without practical application is useless. Revelation without practical application is useless. So as I'm giving you some revelation on how to build strong relationships, you have to put this to work immediately. Immediately, you got to go to work. And as they come up, and so that means you got to spend some time in meditating on these things. And you got to do this, because as we start to recognize That's why the people who submit their lives to me, the men who submit their lives to me, I don't mind them gleaning from other men. I'm really secure in who I am, and I really don't mind that because I know you're going to need other people other than me. I'm always going to be Pastor Tim to you. I'm always going to be the one that God placed to lead you. But listen, I'm very secure in the very fact that you're going to need some other men in your life. You're going to. And I'm not ashamed to tell you that. And anybody that's any pastor that's leading people and don't tell you that, they're lying to you. They're lying to you. And so I'm not intimidated by other people's relationships. I know you're going to need them. You need to recognize what you need and go after it, because the teacher is not just going to show up. The teacher appears when you get thirsty, when you start looking, saying, I need this in my life. Where is it? And it's amazing when you understand what you need, you'll start to notice it's been there all the time. It's been there all the time. And I just didn't tap into it because of pride. I didn't say, hey, man, I really need to talk to you because of pride. You didn't want to be accountable, so you didn't say nothing because you're scared, you're uncomfortable. See, that's what stops us from connecting to the right people. Or you get jealous, and that doesn't work here. That doesn't work here. Transparency is the key. Is the key here. So 5 is build a connection before you need one. Oh, I love this. If you're going to listen, you got to build a connection before you need one. So that means, men, you got to have so much vision about what you need in your life. You got to see it before you need it. You got to see it before you need it. And so when you see individuals come in your life and you go, man, I don't need that right now, but I need to build this connection now because I know 2 years from now, I'm going to be in business. So I need to have this person that's in my life that's willing to pour into me about business, about this. Are y'all catching what I'm saying? Get this down. This is powerful. Build a connection before you need one. Now, that's crafty. No, you're not using a person. You're just being very astute. You just know what you need. You got to build a connection before you need one. And if your attitude, and if your attitude's right, and you're not there to take from them, but you have the attitude on what you can give, let me tell you a business principle that I practiced that made me one of the most successful regional managers in the country and in my region. And I practiced this rule, and it took me to stardom. I managed a whole distribution network, worth over $20 million at its height, even when I was managing $4 million. So I had salespeople that kind of worked for me. They sold my product line, and they worked for the person who owned the company. You know what I used to do to establish relationships with them when first time they met me? And I said, hey, Joe, I see you got 3 different product lines, and I'm one of them. How can I help you? They would tell me what they needed. And you know what I would do? I would go out and meet their customers. Now watch what I did. I would go out and meet their customers and talk to their customers. See, I know my product line. And I know Joe can offer his customer any product line. I would go to their customers and sell my product line because I knew my product line was better than everything Joe had on the shelf. Now watch the player move here. This is player. See, I'm building. I'm watch this. Watch what I'm doing here. And then when his customer said yes and gave me the order, I would go say Joe, don't you sell to A, B, and C company down the street? Yeah, Tim. He said, here's an order for my product. And I would hand feed him the order. He would look at me like, what? You went and sold your product to my customer, and you could have taken it to any one of my competitors, but you brought it to me? He said, that's right. I said, that's right, because I want to build a relationship with you. I want you to know that I'm here to be a blessing to you. And when I was in the corporate, I didn't say blessing. I said, I'm here to help you hit your number, because I need you to help me hit my number. But I'm willing to help you before I even receive from you. Are y'all getting this? And I use that. And so you know what that would do? They would begin to talk to all of their salespeople in their company about me. They would go, hey man, that Tim Johns, man, he brings you business. Do you know what that did for me? Those cats would start selling my stuff all over the place, and I hadn't did all because I did, and I was good at it. I became very good at it. Now, why did I make that point? Build a connection before you need one. I made that point because I wanted you to understand. So y'all, most of y'all, some of y'all don't know my background, but I managed, millions of dollars in industrial for manufacture for years. So I know people. I know how to present stuff. I've been doing it for so long, and so it's so godly driven. I didn't know it was God. I just recognized, how do I get these guys to support my product line when they have 80,000 SKUs? SKUs are part numbers. For some of y'all may not know that. I'm not trying to be funny, but I don't want to say stuff that you may not understand. But part 80,000. How are they gonna find my category? And that's what I used to do. And boy, it started to sell it for me. And man, all of my distributors began to love me because I was developed a reputation that Tim is going to bring business to our company. And boy, I used to go to sleep and go golfing. I ain't have to. Once that machine started working. And so watch this. See, wealth is generated by impact. Get a hold of this. Wealth is generated by impact. The more people you can impact, the greater your wealth will become. If everybody is using your product, I'm teaching you a lot of stuff tonight. Wealth is generated by impact. If that's why Microsoft is so rich, it's because everybody uses Microsoft. That's why iPhone is so, because everybody uses the iPhone. Come on, that's why people who make water is everybody. Well, because everybody's drinking water. If you get a wealth idea or concept and it impacts a lot of people, you can generate wealth. Wealth is generated by impact, and you have to look inside of yourself and say, what do I have to offer to humanity? What do I have to offer to humanity? What am I willing to exchange to humanity to get the riches I want? It's got to be an exchange, and it's got to be built on relationships. So you got to look at you got to look at all that you come with, or every gift you have, and and if you want to increase your level of wealth, you have to increase your level of impact. How many people you touch? How many people you touch? Because you're not going to get wealthy if you don't have impact. That's the reason why we pay basketball players a lot of money and athletes a lot of money, because they are touching a lot of people. Their skill has impacted a lot of people. Thousands go to football games and basketball games. So they got to pay them at a high rate because they touch a lot of people. And the owners can demand it because of the impact, man. It'll help us get rich, y'all. And so, number 5, I got to hurry up. I may have to do a part 2 because I got 15. I don't know if I'm going to finish, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try. Y'all writing this down? Terrence, you with me? I see you. Yes, that's it, man. I see you, Danny. James, that's right. It's good, man. This is good. And so, man, the concepts that I learned in business was just phenomenal. That's why I was one of the best cats. I was one of the best cats. And let alone being one of the few black men in the country that was pulling this thing off in an environment where it wasn't many blacks. Because I learned the game. And y'all know we were taught that we got to work harder and we gotta be faster than everybody else, because they just not gonna let us in. And that's why I was successful, because I was making the money. And it had nothing to do. You see, money will have you look past color. My God, money will have you look past color, man. When you get some money, people start looking at you differently, and so that's just the way it is. So remember, build a connection before you need one. I still stuck on that. I can teach on that all night long. Build a connection before you need. That's right, James. Work twice as hard. That's right. That's just part of the game. I ain't mad at it. That's what it is. We got to do more. Build a connection before you need one. Please get a hold of that. Number 6, respect the opportunity to meet people. Respect the opportunity. That means don't waste it. When you get an opportunity to meet people, respect it. Respect it. Don't waste it. Don't waste it. And don't waste important people's time. Man, be studious, be hungry. Learn how to shut up when you're around great people. When you're around great people, silence is the order of the day. Let them talk because they're gonna be dropping stuff. You don't have to get in and try to show what you're doing and what you're about. See, I've seen men do that, and they don't have much of nothing going on. They just like to talk. No, no, no. When you're around greatness, you keep your mouth shut and you let them ask you some questions. You can ask them questions, but you don't want to dictate the conversation. You want to hear from them. You want to glean from them. Respect the opportunity to meet people. You got to respect that. You got to respect that. When I meet great people, man, I say, yes, sir, hello, how are you? And I just watch. I just watch because I got to glean. I got to glean this something I got to pick up. And you got to respect that. And if you do that, if you respect the gift in other people, man, you know what? God will honor your gift. He got to make room for you. Number 7, be and remain an asset. Be and remain an asset. Goes back to my story about corporate. I became an asset to my distributors. I was the manufacturer. They sold my product. I became an asset and I remained an asset. How do you remain an asset? Well, you remain an asset by looking at the relationships that you're in, always thinking how you can add value. You remain an asset by seeing but by always providing value. So in your relationships, you want to add value. In your marital relationship, you got to continue to add value. You got to continue to add value. You can't get stale in your presentation. You got to be fresh about it. That's how you remain an asset. Pastor Mo says this all the time about relationships. She said, what you did to get me, you got to keep me. I'm sorry. What you did to get me, you got to do to keep me. What she was saying is you got to remain an asset. No one wants a succubus. No one wants somebody that they got to drag. No one wants somebody that's pulling them down. No one wants a taker all the time. You ain't an asset. You a liability. No, you got to be an asset. Listen, people don't get rid of assets. They maintain assets. Are you hearing what I'm saying? When they don't get rid of assets. If you're in a storm and the boat's going down and they tell you we need to get rid of some dead weight, they are not getting rid of the assets. They're getting rid of stuff that's not that important. And so you got to remain an asset. That's what when you say, Spence, I can't even read that what do cause work. I don't know what you're saying, Spence. You typed it wrong or something. But you got to remain an asset. Listen, even in corporate America, it's a principle. Even in life. Yeah, but women hook you then change it. James, that's another lesson. Stop looking good and do it. James, that's another lesson. I ain't gonna follow that rabbit trail, James. You ain't gonna take me there. James is going off on a tangent. That's another. Maybe we'll talk about that, James, when we talk about our relationship with men. I'm sorry, when we have a discussion about our relationship with our women in particular, that's gonna be a whole nother session. But always remain an asset. Corporations get rid of people because they don't have no value for them anymore. They will get rid of you. They will pay you as much as they believe you are an asset to them. They will pay you as much as they believe you're an asset. If you stop being an asset, you become a liability and you're susceptible to being let go. And I'm telling you, got to remain an asset. You have to make yourself so valuable that people can't afford to get rid of you. You have to put the fear of God in some people's heart that they can't even walk away from you. Even if they don't like you, they can't walk away from you. They got to deal with you anyway because they know if you go, man, you create such a value. They be afraid to walk out on you. You don't fire people who are an asset. You don't get rid of them. You replace them with a greater asset. So get a hold of what I'm saying. This number, which number was that? That was number 7. Be and remain an asset. Now, and as we're talking about relationships, I'm going to try to finish. I'm almost there. Number 8 is honor and respect. Yes, men, we have to honor one another. Honor and respect. Honor and respect. We have to have a code. You Marines on here know exactly what I'm talking about. The Marines have a code. Military people have a code. Honor. Honor. Honor and respect. And it has nothing to do with how we feel. Honor, we need that in the church. We need that in the church. Honor and respect. Yeah. If I locate who you honor, if I can identify who you honor, I'll see what's going to be an operation in your life. As says, don't get pink slips. That's right, Ed. If I locate who you honor, I'll see what's going to be transferred in your life. You'll never receive from someone you don't honor. You'll never receive from someone you don't honor. So we got to get out of this thing. We have to understand, as men of God, we have to honor the heads. We have to honor spiritual fathers. We have to honor people in authority. We don't disrespect them. We don't violate that rule. If they're in a position of authority, we should pray for them. We should support them, but we don't try to remove people. Honor and respect. That's why David was so blessed remember when David was going to replace Saul, but he was in the cave, and Saul came in the cave, and his men told David, his armor bearers, told him, man, we can kill him right now. We got him. He's in there shaking the dew off the lily. Where's my military people at? He's in there shaking the dew off the lily. So y'all military folk, y'all know what I'm talking about. Saul was in the cave relieving himself, shaking the dew off the lily, and David was right behind him, and his homeboy said, kill him. He said, kill him. Honor, courage, commitment, Marine Corps, absolutely. And that's what we need, godly men, to honor that thing. And so watch what David did. David cut a piece of his robe off, and then he felt bad doing that and said, I should have never did that. It was the honor in him. But he wouldn't put his hands on Saul. He wouldn't put his hands on Saul, and he wouldn't put his mouth on Saul. And God says, touch not my anointing and do my prophet no harm. When God wants to elevate you, you will always have a moment where you may want to you'll go through a temptation period on whether you want to attack the person that's above you. And you got to resist the temptation to do that, because it's honor and respect. And I'm telling you, you can't violate that. This is a code. And so the Marines, James, the Marines didn't create this. God did. The Marines didn't create this. The Marines took it from God, because God has a code of honor. He said, if you don't honor me, I ain't going to honor you. He said, you got to honor me first. Which means God says, if you honor me, I'll honor you. If you submit to me, I'm going to make sure everything you need is provided. And so why? Because blessings flow from the top down. And you just can't go walking in, you can't break in the code of honor. You can't break the code of honor and respect. I don't care how much you know. You may think you're smarter than the one that's leading you. And listen, you may very well be. But if you don't honor, you begin to stink. If you don't understand that sometimes you got a first place anointing and a second position, and God wants to see if you can humble yourself and submit to another man, even though you may think you got the goods, but your character is not where it needs to be. You need humility more than you need a lot of stuff. So, man, that's so powerful. Honor and respect. Number 9, reach out first. Oh, this is we're talking about accountability and relationship. Reach out first. Never forget to say thank you. Never forget to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I do it. I practice it by protocol. Even during this virtual thing, when I hear my man of God, now my man of God has thousands of people watching him online. But I'm checking in, listening to him, taking notes, And when something resonates with me, I texted him the other day and I said, listen, Dad, that message you taught, thank you. Thank you. I said it helped me. Look at what I'm doing. And that's not fake. But I'm doing this. I'm reaching out first. And I never forget to say thank you. I never forget to tell my man of God, thank you. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you. And I think and I get that from a lot of you, and that's great. But I'm telling you, reach out first. Reach out first. Don't wait for the people you need to connect to reach for you. Drop your pride and reach for them. Reach out first. Don't wait. Don't wait. Every mentor I have that's in my life, I reach first. I reach first. They didn't reach out to me. They busy. They're busy. I reached out to them. But when I pulled on them, they responded. So don't get all prideful and let me say this to the men who submit their lives to me. I don't know everything. I don't know everything you're going through. Not unless the Lord drops something in me. I'm gonna repeat this. I don't know everything. I'm not perfect. I'm fragile. I'm human. And so if you need something from me and you don't tell me, it's your fault. It's your fault. Because you need to reach first. You need to reach first. At my position, I'm doing different things, and I got a family just like you do. The church is connected to me. I'm connected to God, so I have responsibility just like you do. And I say this with all passion, with all love, that if you need something from me and you don't tell me, how am I going to help? You got to reach first, and that's one of the main problems men have. They don't reach first. And I've heard people say this sometimes. Well, I'm going to do no. And I'm like, man, you never said nothing. How am I supposed to know that? Question came in, I want to reach out and I get busy and then I don't come back and then get embarrassed. How can I fix it? Ooh, that's a good question. Getting back, you embarrassment is a choice. Embarrassment is a choice. Just like shame. You have to choose to walk in shame. Embarrassment is a choice. It makes you withdraw. I'm not going to get embarrassed. It's a choice. That's why you hear me freely talk about pornography, because I'm not embarrassed by it anymore. I used to be, but I expose light so much on my issues that I can help other people. I'm not ashamed. I don't care what you think about me, because I struggle with pornography, and I got to keep my eyes checked out every time. I don't care. So I can freely say that because I've been delivered. And so that's a choice. You got to overcome that fear. You got to reach out. Stop making excuses why you don't reach out. Somebody said to me one time, this stuff that I'm gonna have to stop. I ain't gonna rush this, y'all, because I'm gonna stop right here at this one, because it's just so much. I got 5 more. Maybe we'll do it on the round table at the Zoom meeting. I'll finish this. So you got to come to the Zoom meeting and not next week, the week after next, and I'll finish this. And so, because we're coming up on the hour, and I'm not gonna keep you longer than that. I'm not gonna do it. But I got a question here. So what do you do? I get these questions sometimes. Pastor, I was gonna call you, but what do you mean? Why didn't you? Well, I didn't think you had time. This is what I get. Well, I ain't want to bother you. No. You just talk yourself out of doing it because you got uncomfortable. And most of the time you talk yourself out of picking the phone up. And you got to remember this. You got to remember the principle I gave you. You got to reach first. Oftentimes your mentors need you to pull on them. Jesus was busy. He wasn't stopping for the woman with the issue of blood. Come on, talk back to me, y'all. He wasn't He wasn't stopping. She pulled on him and then he stopped. Jesus walked right past. He walked right past blind Bartimaeus. He was on his way somewhere. And blind Bartimaeus started hollering and said, Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me. Jesus turned around and said, who's that young man? What he want? Do you follow what I'm saying? You follow what I'm saying? God is present all the time. You got to tap into him. He's omnipresent everywhere. Oh, I'm gonna have to stop. But man, this is rich stuff, man. Thank all of y'all for joining me tonight on our discussion of this. This is so powerful. I gave you 9 principles of the power of relationships. I stopped at 9. I have 5 more to go. Remember, our next meeting will be 2 weeks from now on a Zoom. So make sure, if you haven't already, registered to get the Zoom link. I'll finish this and we'll talk about some other stuff. It's called self-esteem. Nobody can make you feel bad. I struggle with porn and gambling, and like both, I still pray daily and ask for forgiveness. You keep praying, man. You keep praying. Keep praying. Keep praying. Don't stop praying. I really had a problem with accountability because I don't want other men to know what I'm hiding. Ah, that's so good. JL, good stuff. Good tools to work with. Thank you, Terrence. What's up, man? Thank you so much, Boo, for coming on. Had a great time with Buddha in an ATL last week. Thank you, Boo. I got to post our picture, man. We took a nice picture. JL, love you, man. Zoom, not until December. Pastor Mo says the Zoom meeting won't be until December because of the holiday and everything coming up. So the Zoom meeting being in December. I'll have the date up on the website. We'll change it, and so you'll have it. But that's when the next Zoom meeting will be. But invite another brother. Get another brother. Help us help other men. These are going to be great. We're going to come together. I really don't have a problem with accountability. I really have a problem with accountability because other men. I don't want other men to know what I'm hiding. Well, that's just fear. That's just fear. You have to fight through your fear. My pastor taught me a long time ago that you have to take your fear with you. You have to have courage. And listen, you'll know the person that you can share with because the Lord will tell you. The Lord will tell you. He will say, hey, this is the person you need to talk to. Because when you're afraid of sharing, it's because you feel like somebody's going to judge you. And so sin and shame has a side effect to it. Sin has a side effect. It'll have you cover up, it'll have you receive shame, but the love of God covers all sin and all shame. Man, somebody who really loves you won't condemn you. But sin will have the side effect of sin. It will have you cover up. And so God will always bring you somebody in your life that you can share your wounds with. And when you share it with them, you're going to find out they had the same problem you did, or they know how to help you get over it. And so it's a trick of the enemy that'll stop you from sharing with somebody and what you're hiding. So just listen to the Holy Spirit. Maybe it's me. If that's whoever asked that question, Pastor Mo, if that's you, then maybe ain't no maybe. I know I can be one of the people that can help you because that's what this call is all about. And there's many other men here that you can connect with on the Zoom, and we're going to have a time of fellowship where we're going to be connecting, exchanging numbers, and I got a whole plan I'm thinking about on how we can take this thing to the next level. We got to have no judgment zone. That's right, like the Planet Fitness. I love it. I trust another guy, and then he sees, then I see he's not really what he turned out to be, and I don't respect it. I know that's the truth. So another question came in. I trust another guy, and then I see that he's not what. That's right. But see, when you start to walk through these principles I gave you, you're going to understand. Now, this is number 10. I see you're going to get me teaching again. I don't want to, but I'm trying to help you and answer that question. Trust. This is number 10. Earn trust. Love is commanded, but trust must be earned. Write that down. This is number 10. I'm really not going to do no more, but I'm answering this question this man asked. Love is a commandment, but trust must be earned. And you know, trust is earned through loyalty and the capacity to produce results. You don't trust nobody if you can't see the results. You know, you can trust. It takes time to build trust, and maybe you're trusting them too soon, and then you're missing it. And you should be trusting somebody without watching them over time. Come on now. And that'll help you make better decisions in relationships, even with women. You know, trust must be earned. Love is commanded, but trust must be earned. And that'll help you tremendously. But God will send people in your life where you can reveal. I have people in my life, thank God, that I believe I can share anything with. You know, I can call them and say, it'll be a little uncomfortable at first, but I know they love me. And I know if I tell them, they're going to tell me what to do. And that's the thing. So you can't be isolated. Can't be. Great questions. Great. That means that we're tapping into something. That's great. Great question, because this is real talk. That's what this men's discussion was designed to do, to get us to open up and stop all this hiding, because we should be further along than we are. And it's because of relationships and no accountability. So I'm going to stop there. Man, I pray in the name of Jesus, man, that we begin to receive right relationships. Father, engrave this lesson in our heart that we may produce like never before. Yoke us together right now by your spirit, that we may take over our cities, take back our homes, lead in our churches and our communities, lead in every mountain of society right now in Jesus' name. All right. So remember, you're going to register. If you haven't already registered, go to, you can email me. No, I don't want you to email me. You can connect with me on my email. My email is drtim@hgmde.org. Is that my email address? Yes, it is. drtim@hgmde.org. If you want to talk to me personally, connect with me there. You can connect with me there. You want to talk to me personally, I'll respond to your email. That's my personal email. I need you to register online. If you haven't registered, go to the website, www.hmde.org, and register for Real Talk Men, and you'll be on the Zoom list. So this is an hour and 7 minutes. I went over 7 minutes, but you know, I talked for 15 and waiting for y'all to come on, and so we're good. Thank y'all again. This has been rich as always. Hey, listen, you know, I'm up early praying, so tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. if you want to join me in prayer, join me in prayer. And most of you men, if you're not working, need to get that discipline up. Do we need to register anytime? You can register anytime. James, I think you already did it. I think you're already on the list. I think you did. If you didn't, James, maybe maybe I'm missing it. But if you did, if you didn't, go to the website, because I can't remember everybody's names, but I know some of you have. Most of you have. I've seen your name on the list. So, Pastor Mo, you say you have another question. Okay, give it to me. I'll answer the question. We got one more question. Hang tight, y'all. Great. Kudos to Pastor Mo for helping me. She's a good helpmate. We got one more question. It's coming in. All right. Great. Jamal, glad you were on tonight, man. Love you, man. Man, you guys are kings. You're kings, and you just gotta believe you're kings. God placed us to be kings and priests. And glory to God. Glory to God. Yes, and if you want to be a blessing to my ministry, you can always cash at me at $ Dr. Tim Johns. If you want to be a blessing to me personally, you can sow your seed there. If the Lord moves on you to be a blessing into my life, that is made available for you. All right, and that's my cash app. My direct cash app is $ Dr. Tim Johns. She is the best helper. Yes, she is, Bushu. Yes, she is. He is on the one. Mo, I thought you said you had another question. Were you telling me that? Is there any other question? Did I miss that question? Did I? When are you going to talk about the relationship with our women? Oh, I need. That's just she. I saw that question. Not tonight. Well, I'm out of time. Hey, have a blessed night. Remember, tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., I'll be praying for all of you. Join me at 6 a.m. And let me tell you something, brothers. 6 a.m. is always powerful. The ladies outnumber y'all in the morning. Let me just tell y'all that. Jamal, you there sometimes, but the ladies outnumber y'all. Them women are up all over the country, man. I'm I'm needling y'all. Y'all need to get up and join me at 6 a.m. prayer. Come on. Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey, so listen, everybody, before y'all check out on me, Dr. Mike and Dr. Didi is coming. Talk about relationships. Ooh, this is a good segue for Friday. So make sure you plug into our page on Friday at 7 o'clock. You do not want to miss it. Dr. Mike and Dr. Didi. Make it a date night. Bushu, tell your wife, man, that y'all should get around that whatever device, laptop, iPad, whatever, and get online. Dr. Mike and Dr. Didi will be here on Friday. It's going to be virtual. It's going to be off the hizzy, off the hook. And listen, we're going to have a great time. Yeah, and Spence, I was thinking about that today, man, but I didn't give you enough notice because I had to do that funeral, and it just, man, I was running, man. But soon, Spence, soon. Yes, she is up early in the morning. It's right. So yes, remember the date of this Friday. I think that's the 13th. This Friday, I need all of you there. I need the men, I need the women. Tell your wives that Dr. Mike and Dr. Didi is coming to HJM virtually, and we are going to have a time. We are going to have a time. So keep it. And removing the mask. The title is Removing the Mask, Killing the Virus. Woo! I want everybody to be engaged in this thing. So it was good. Y'all have a good night. I'm out. Peace to you.